everyone, so today we're continuing our series that we started for Dolly Tales. The last one was Dad Dollies, and today we're going to be talking about dolls that remind us of Mom. She was one of the nicest people you'd ever meet. I never met anyone that ever had anything bad to say about her, because she was kind of known for being really patient and really kind and sweet and understanding. She loved little pets like critters, like she loved mice especially.
She loved her childhood guinea pigs.
My mom just loved being a mom, and I think that's like one of the things I most appreciate. She was so invested in being a good mom. Like when we were homesick from school, she would make puzzles with us. She would take us out to like the playground or to the beach or to the water slides. It was just very much a part of our lives, and I definitely felt like I could go to my mom with anything, like any problem. And I feel like when I look back at it, I feel like my mom always understood like that we were different as sisters. I never felt like pit against each other, whereas Dad would always do that. Like, I feel like she really encouraged us to like be who we were and like fostered that growth instead of trying to get us to change. And she just always knew when something was wrong, even before I did.
One of the things I remember most about Mom was her relationship with Shelly at night, because Shelly was mentally more mature than me, I think.
Yeah.
And in many ways still is. She would go in Shelly's room and they would just have these long talks about life, and Mom would bestow her wisdom on Shelly. And I always think about that particular aspect of Mom's life when I listen to the Carly Simon song Like a River, which she says, "Did you clear up the mystery of the Sphinx? Do you know any more about God? Are you dancing with Benjamin Franklin on the face of the moon?" Because it reminds me of like kind of hearing your voices.
Mom used to climb up on my top bunk and lay with me.
I remember that. What I think about most about my mom is that she had a big heart. And this necklace, this was hers, and I remember seeing it when I was young on her neck and being mesmerized by it. But I feel like it's almost become more of a symbol for me. I wear this to work almost every day now because I think about how she's the person in life that I admire most, the person that I would like to be like, and then there are qualities in me that I know are like her, and then I just have to think about how to bring those qualities out. And I think about this heart as not just because it was hers, but because it's a symbol of the fact she had a really big heart, and that's what ultimately people remember about her, and what I want them to remember about me someday when I'm not here anymore. I want them to remember me for having a big heart, and I want to aspire to be like her even when it's hard. So it's almost become symbolic.
She had the perfect name, Joy. It was like the perfect name. And
she was joyful.
Mom had like a really bad childhood, but she didn't have a good relationship with them, and she would always tell us like, "I want to be there for you the way my parents weren't for me." And I didn't really understand it when I was young, but I think like that's one thing that I really learned from my mom. And like when I found things she wrote later on as an adult, I really wish I could talk to her, because I feel like I've actually unintentionally grown up in a way a lot like her in terms of like some of the struggles she had and stuff. She's one of those people that didn't let her bad like childhood and abuse and things change who she was. She became a better person, and I feel like way too many people in life let those things make them bad, and they repeat like a cycle. If they had a rough childhood, they feel sorry for themselves and they act like a victim, and they don't try to make the world a better place. They'd rather wallow in it. And I feel like for me, that's one thing that I really strive to do, is to use those bad things in life to like help myself and inspire other people. And because we lost her so young, our journey with dolls wove into that differently. And there's one thing that really bothers me. Like, comments don't usually bother me, but when people are like, "Well, you must have loved your dad more because you always talk about him," or they point blank say, "Well, why didn't your mom buy you brats?" Or like they don't know the details, and they ask these invasive questions without thinking. And it's like, well, my mom died when I was 11. Bratz weren't out, Monster High weren't out. We weren't into, even if dolls were out, you didn't get into Skipper until after she died.
Right. And actually, she was kind of like a catalyst too. Like her death was like this catalyst that drove us closer together and more into that like dolly world. We
were always into dolls. They were our main like source of enjoyment as kids. But when Mom died, our home life became kind of dysfunctional, and I think that was Dad's way of making up for it, was buying us dolls, and that's what gave them a really deep connection. And then he got sick so many years later, and that's when I got back into dolls.
I feel like even when we were little, Dad was always more invested, literally, in the dolls. Like, just Dad was a different person, and I think because
it's not at all that we loved him more. It's not at all that we miss him more, but part of what inspired this channel and how it played into our doll collection. It was a catalyst from like losing Dad. You only see like 5% of someone's life, and that doesn't mean that what they choose not to share isn't important. Like there's whole things that we do not share, things I would never bring to the channel.
So even though Dad was more important in our doll collection as a whole, in our very earliest Barbies, I would actually say Mom had more of a role for me in the beginning, because she was the one that was home with me, and I had this doll, Dila, in 1989, my first Barbie, since Shelly was like less than a year old. Mom was the only one that I could actually talk to because Shelly was a baby. But even thinking about the day I got Dila, I don't remember whether or not Dad was there. But I do remember Mom throwing away Dila's paper pieces. And I would say that actually started a trend right from the get-go of us and Mom and the dolls, was she would purge things with or without permission. I also remember, like I said, following Mom around the house, and I would make Dila talk to her. And I tried to make Dila call Mom Joy. Colleen, you can't call me Joy, I'm Mom. And I said, but you're not Dila's mom. And she's going to talk, no, Colleen. But Mom, you're not Dila's mom. So I think I made Dila call Mom Miss or something, because to me it didn't make sense to make Dila call Mom Mom. Oh, and she wouldn't let me trade Dila with the little girl on the school bus. And that I'm glad she didn't let me do, because I'm glad I have Dila.
We have musical princess Jasmine. This isn't my childhood one because I think our dog Haley ate that doll, and the only thing I have left of her is a very raggedy, destroyed dress. But this reminds me of Mom because this was my first Jasmine doll, and I also had a perfume Princess Jasmine that I was obsessed in. Princess Jasmine was my favorite. And when I was little, this might sound shocking, but I was not like demure with my parents. I was really fresh. I would have like meltdowns. They had to cut my door in half, so when I was throwing a tantrum, they could like keep an eye on me. I was defiant. I also learned to swear at a young age. Yeah, so when I got in trouble, one of the main things Mom would do would hijack whatever doll I was most like into, and of course my Jasmines were my favorite, and musical princess Jasmine spent more time on top of the fridge while I was being punished for things than all the other dolls, because we didn't get grounded. We would get sent to our room and then have a toy taken away.
This is Water to a Magic Jasmine, and the reason I selected her is because I got a Classics Jasmine, I presume, because Mom was the one who picked all the good gifts when we were young. Then Mom picked me for Christmas way back in like 92 or 93. And then one day when I was out with Shelly and Mom at the store, I was being kind and let Shelly carry Jasmine, which was a huge mistake. And I'm never being nice to you again. And Shelly lost Jasmine. So Mom ended up buying me this one. And I think that even if it weren't for that, she would remind me of Mom anyway, because I remember the brief time I had my Water Surprise Jasmine, which was like, I don't know, probably 2 days. I would play with the two of them in the shower together and watch their jewels change color. And I remember taking them in the car with me one day, the two of them, and I dropped Water Surprise Jasmine, and when I doubled back to get her, Haley had eaten her like whole lower half. Her legs on. So I was pretty upset, and I asked Mom if I could keep the outfit at least, and Mom said no.
I had pet Dr. Barbie. This is actually my childhood doll, thus the raggediness. So I got her with my allowance, I want to say, right around the time she came out, and she reminds me of Mom because one, she was one of my earlier Barbies, one of my first store-bought ones, and two, I remember taking her on vacation with us one year when we went to New Jersey. We went to Six Flags and we stayed at like some motels, and I remember she was the Barbie I brought with me on vacation because she was pretty new. And anyways, prior to the vacation, I had stolen a Barbie brush at a friend's house. Now, I did some petty larceny as like a really little kid that I don't remember.
She used to carry around this big purse, and she would take greeting cards. Oh, she also used to pull fire alarms. She would make greeting cards and like batteries, just like random stuff that she didn't really want, and like use it to fill a purse.
I don't remember.
And then poor mom would have to go like explain to the cashier, yeah, my little girl put this in her purse. I'm so sorry.
I was always surprised when they find out like how much trouble I used to get into.
She was a rebel.
But I was at a friend's house, our friend Lisa's house, and they had a mesh bag with like random toys, and there was this star-shaped Barbie-sized comb. It wasn't for Barbie, it was for like a clone doll. And I wanted it, and I stole it. And I was aware enough at that age to know like what I was doing was wrong. So I put it in my yellow backpack while we were on vacation. And the whole time it was next to Pet Dr. Barbie, and I felt guilty that I had stolen this brush. So finally when vacation was over, I couldn't even enjoy vacation. Like every time I like think of that vacation, I think of it.
I remember meeting Daffy Duck. That goes to show you the crime doesn't pay.
I know, because I didn't get to meet Sylvester.
Well, and even if you had, you would have been thinking about that Barbie
I know,
dress.
and so I felt guilty. I confessed to Mom what I did, and she brought us over our friend Lisa's house. And then Lisa's mom, Tammy, was like, oh, we didn't even notice it was gone. And I just felt so guilty. I thought they'd never forgive me. No one cared.
So this is Teen Time Courtney, also known now as Daphne, but formerly Dyston. When we were really little, our grandparents on Mom's side worked at the Salvation Army. They gave us a bag with secondhand dolls, and I got to pick first. So Hawaiian Fun Barbie was Frostin', and I went to name this doll Icing, but even though I was 6 or 7, I said Dyston instead of Icing because I couldn't say Icing. For a long time she was Dyston, and then Shelly got really interested in this doll around, what would you say, when you were like
8 or 9.
8 or 9, around the time she got the Gen Girls, because
and totally yo-yo Courtney.
yeah, she kind of went into a bit of a skipper phase. Shelly started taking Dyston to the beach, and then a few years after that, I started taking Daphne to the beach because around the last summer Mom was alive, I went through this skipper phase. It actually led to my big skipper phase. I just remember when I think about going with Mom to the beach, this is one of the dolls that I really remember.
Together in Paris on the Anastasia doll. Mom, I think, was the one that got me this doll. I really don't remember how I ended up with her because I've had her so long. But I remember Anastasia was one of my favorites growing up. We used to rent it at the movie place when we were kids. I remember I had like the Burger King Puka, and I had an activity book Mom bought me to do in church. So when I think of Anastasia, I actually think of Mom. And like Mom used to buy me little activity books.
Sun Color's Nakoma, and this is not our childhood doll. The guinea pigs ate the childhood doll. Mom was really involved in the Pocahontas. I especially remember going with her to a local department store to get Shelly's Cocoam doll and John Smith when we were kids. So that's like one of my more profound childhood memories of Mom. The reason I picked Nakoma was because I remember this night in the car, Shelly and I had our dolls, and the one I had brought with me was Nakoma. And Shania Twain's Any Man of Mine came on, and I started making Shania Twain sing, and I had this whole like dance move. She was like, wah! I remember Mom telling me, I think, that the artist was Shania Twain. So this ended up snowballing. It was actually this moment with Nakoma in the car that made me like Shania Twain. For the last Christmas Mom was alive, or one of the last Christmases she was alive, she actually got me Shania Twain's CDs, which was really cool.
That was your first CDs, which
yeah, those were my first CDs.
Because my 2 first CDs were, I actually got 3 CDs. I got a Martina McBride Greatest Hits CD and Britney Spears Baby One More Time and Oops I Did It Again. Those were my first CDs that I ever had that Mom bought. She got us each a matching like cheap little radio thing because Mom loved music. She was always like buying cassettes and CDs, and she would like, I remember we'd be listening to songs and she'd like tell me like, oh, Alan Jackson, he has long hair, and Martina McBride is the little woman with the big voice. She listened to like a lot of country and like things like the Carpenters and Carly Simon, and Linda Ronstadt was her favorite. I loved Martina McBride as a kid. I had like a thing for a lot of her songs that were out then, and even though this doll came out well after my mom passed away, I'm not like, obviously like Britney Spears and Martina McBride's music, I don't really keep up with either of them anymore. It's not something that like I kind of outgrew because there's music I relate to more. But these CDs that Mom got me will always remind me of Mom, and they're part of like my childhood and part of who I am. So when we saw her at the flea market as adults for a good deal, we got her, and I really wanted her because I think it's cool that they made her, and she does remind me of my mom because she liked Martina McBride too. And then Britney, story behind Britney is really funny. So when I was a kid, Britney Spears was like a brand new artist, and she was super controversial, and
Mom didn't like her.
I got this Yaboom doll with Dad one day when we were out with Dad, and I liked her because she had 2 braids, and I liked her because she was a celebrity doll. I had never heard Britney Spears' music at the time. I didn't care. Like, that's kind of the story of my life. I'm not really into like celebrities and stuff. Like, I don't care. I'm not like a fangirl of things. But I bought her, and she could play music back then. I don't have batteries in, and I ended up really liking the song, and I'd like make Britney sing it. And Mom kind of caught on to the fact that I liked my Britney Spears doll, and she hated Britney Spears. She would be like, oh my god, this Britney Spears, like, oh, her songs are so annoying. She has this new stupid one out called Oops, I Did It Again. Blah, blah, blah. Mom actually got me my Oops, I Did It Again doll for Christmas the year after we got CDs. But this was my first Britney doll, and the one that made her buy me the CDs. And I remember, I'll never forget the day she was doing laundry and she came down the stairs and we were listening to Lucky by Britney. And Mom's like, oh, this is a nice song, who sings this? And we both said, Britney Spears. And she was like, oh. It's just really funny because I like how even though Mom didn't like Britney Spears, she let me like Britney Spears.
Well, this is Shelly's Tarzan Jane doll. And the reason I've actually bring Jane out is because we saw the Tarzan movie at the drive-in with Mom and Dad, and what I remember most about that night was Mom saying when she originally had seen like the picture before we even saw the movie, was that to her Jane looked just like Belle, or no, Tarzan's mom looked just like Belle, and Jane did too. Mom was like, oh, I don't really think those movies and special cartoons kind of look like the ones from Beauty and the Beast, and I'm like, Mom, shut up. I also remember when we were out shopping with Mom a lot, Shelly would hide Jane dolls behind other boxes.
So I could go back and get them when I had money for her.
And then Shelly finally saved enough money when we were camping, and I just really remember playing with Shelly. We had our
Fountain Fun
pool that you got, and for some reason my cut and style Barbie salon that we decided to put water in. And I remember playing with water, and Mom was just glad we were doing it outside on a blanket at the campground.
Tarzan reminds me of Mom because the summer that came out, you were doing choir camp. And remember how Lisa would spend all day with me and Mom, and we would play in the sandbox, and then we'd go pick you and Sarah up from choir camp.
You and Lisa didn't
and I remember like she'd get us McDonald's sometimes, and that's where I got some of my McDonald's Tarzan toys before I'd even seen the movie. Like right before she passed away. That's when we first got into kind of like collecting dolls. We didn't really call it that, but that's what it was. We started getting really into buying boxed dolls at the flea market, out-of-date stuff at the stores. We especially were into like early 90s Barbie things. And we also had gotten into trolls. We used to have a pretty big collection of trolls that we don't have anymore because we just didn't do anything with them. But we got Troll Barbie at the flea market around the time Mom was alive, and I remember Mom used to call them Wishnicks.
I know.
We had like my homemade dollhouse we'd play trolls in, and she was kind of like our mascot. Like trolls were a huge part of our lives back then.
Huge part.
Like
the last couple years.
Then they got us like little troll earrings. So she was not only one of the first dolls that I collected, but also was representative of like trolls, and that time in my life really reminds me of Mom, for sure.
Definitely. And then actually that's a good segue into Olivia. So Olivia, we found, she was almost like one of those boxed dolls that you find at the flea market, except she was still at the store.
She's second edition Pioneer American Stories Barbie.
Yeah, and she's like from 95, but we actually found her around 2001. Shelly would actually put this dress on that Water Jewel Magic Jasmine, who I definitely think of as Shelly's now. Olivia reminds me of Mom because that was again kind of that same time of life that Shelly was talking about Tina, Troll Barbie, where we were like getting into like collecting them, and Mom was kind of there for the beginning of that journey.
Yep.
And we did a lot of our like errands with Mom, and we would spend our allowance money on dolls.
This is Salon Surprise Barbie, aka Cassandra. So I got her after Mom passed away. However, the reason why she reminds me of Mom is because I remember Mom took us out to KB Toys one day on our way home from doing errands, and I saw Salon Surprise Barbie. This was a brand new line, and I was like, oh, a doll with pink hair I need. I wanted to buy her, but Mom said, no, you have a doll that looks just like that already. You're not going to get it. And the thing is, I didn't have a doll with pink hair. I didn't even have many dolls on this 99 body mold. I think I only had like one at the time. Our holiday singing sisters Barbie.
So technically two, but so two of the same.
I was devastated, and I always remembered that, like, she wouldn't let me get Salon Surprise Barbie. Dad
being dad, he bought Shelly out to buy the doll within a year of mom dying. This is Valerie, GT number 16. Shelly and I had this thing where we used to like spend hours looking at our American Girl catalogs and almost making a game of it. And we would tell stories about this girl named Valerie and her sister Angela. I named her after Valerie Tripp, by the way. The main reason we actually put her in this video is because she reminds Shelly of mom because of the time I actually ended up getting Valerie for my birthday. Shelly kind of remembers like the planning that went into that.
Yeah, so we were gonna get our two first girl-to-day dolls for Christmas 1999 together, but Colleen changed her mind last minute and ended up getting Valerie on her birthday like in February instead. And so Mom and Dad ordered Valerie, but they also got like one of those like cheap kind of clone outfits for her with like it was like a picnic dress with a sun hat, and Mom ordered me like some Samantha paper dolls and a wire wig brush so I wouldn't get jealous. And I remember when Colleen went to go take a shower, Mom and Dad put all the gifts out and they lit the cake and they turned off all the lights, so when she would come out, it would be a surprise. And the two dolls we're going to show next are not actually doll types that were out when Mom was alive. However, they strongly remind us of Mom. So, as I mentioned in the intro of the video, Mom loved the little like critters and mice. And the second I saw Mouseades King, the Monster High doll, at Walmart for the first time, I thought, oh my god, Mom would have loved this doll. Now, Mom, I think, based on what I remember, Mom wouldn't have cared like if I had wanted to have Monster High or Bratz as a kid. She was very like, they're just dolls. That's it. But she definitely would have thought they were ugly. But she's like really cute and sweet. She doesn't have like that diva face that a lot of Monster High dolls have. And I really, really wanted her. And I specifically wanted the City Ghouls 3-pack one because of her sweet little outfit. So I ended up getting her on sale. I got the whole set for like $7.50, I want to say, at Walmart one night while Colleen was at a work thing. And I named this doll Joya after my mom.
So this is Jaylene.
Style it Jaylene.
This doll, the way that like she has the very full hair with the bangs, and she's got this little sweater dress on.
And the J name.
And the J name. She really reminds me of just like Mom if Mom were a Bratz doll. She looks like Mom, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this doll really just, when we first saw her, we're like, that one reminds me of Mom, and I'm not really sure why, but she's just...
Yeah, and I had to buy her when I found her at Rite Aid. This is my sparkling Jasmine from 2001. This is my actual childhood doll, and she reminds me of Mom because she was one of the very last dolls I got when Mom was alive. I remember finding her at Target when it first opened. It was a big deal. I remember going to that plaza with Mom, and at the time I didn't really have a nice regular size Jasmine, so I was really excited when they came out with this line, and she had purple lips, which is one of the things I love most in a doll. And I remember taking her everywhere with me the last summer Mom was alive. She went with us to like Mom's chemo and radiation appointments. I remember the day I got her, we went out for pizza, and we always went to this local place to get pizza, and I always took Jasmine. And I just remember going to the beach with her and to the dollar store with her, and I'd buy Jasmine dollar store clothes. And I just remember like Mom was such a part of it. And remember the time we went to the movies with Mom?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I had gotten this Hello Kitty like zip-up bag at Target, and Hello Kitty also reminds me of my mom because I got into Hello Kitty when Target opened, and I saw Hello Kitty clothes everywhere, and Mom let me buy like this big bag. I still have it, even though it wasn't school clothes, and we took it to the movie theater and we put snacks in there, but then we put Jasmine and Colleen's Katie doll she's about to show you on top of the snacks.
I actually got Katie a few months earlier, before we even knew that Mom had cancer again. I got Katie, it was just like one of those random shopping excursions you never forget. We were trying to remodel downstairs, and Dad was trying to put in a bathroom that to this day it never got done. We were out shopping at a Walmart with Mom and Dad, and she got Princess Barbie, and I got this doll, and at the time it just seemed random, like not one of those things that's going to be special. And I remember we had them in the like brand new unused toilet, and we were making them like go in circles on it. There was no water, it had never been used, it was just an empty toilet. I just really remember my mom around that time. And then that summer when Shelly got Jasmine, they were like the duo that, like she said, we took everywhere. My most strong memory, like it's like cemented in my mind, is we went with Mom and our Auntie Kim to a beach, and Dad and our Uncle Ray went on a boat, and we were out on the beach, and we had really old raunchy bathing suits that we put t-shirts and shorts over so no one could see the bathing suits. And likewise, Jasmine and Katie were in like the doll equivalent of junky bathing suits, so they had t-shirts and shorts over. And then I remember when we got to our Auntie Kim's, because we were, you know, at home with family, we took off the like bad like t-shirt and shorts that were over the bathing suits, and me and Shelly with the dolls went in the hot tub. And I remember Mom was going to like school to take computer classes, and she wanted to take a picture of us playing in Auntie Kim's hot tub. And what we did is we didn't want our bathing suits showing in the picture because we were self-conscious about it. So we like put our heads and Jasmine and Katie's heads like right at the line where we photographed, and it's cemented in my mind. So this was my first Katie like this. You guys see more of the other one. This one's arm actually broke. She's been rebodied.
And for a little context, Mom had breast cancer, then got a clean bill of health, and then a few months later it had come back in her brain and liver. So that's why she said when she cancer again.
Yeah.
I didn't explain, I guess, the whole, it's very complicated. The next doll that reminds me of Mom is my Biddy Baby. So I got her for a good report card when I was 9 in the 4th grade. And the reason why she reminds me so much of Mom is because, first of all, Mom picked me out like surprise presents for, I can't remember if it was my birthday or Christmas for Biddy Baby. One year it was one of the Valentine's themed outfits, and the one she's wearing, this beach outfit, I actually saved up for this with my allowance, but I remember the day that it came, Colleen got Molly's birthday dress, and Mom got the package which was addressed to her, and she opened it up thinking it was a gift for her because people would send her like get well gifts, and she was like, oh girls, come in here, it's your doll stuff.
It was really funny.
And I remember she would let us take Molly and Biddy to the beach, but we had to like leave them in the car. Obviously they weren't allowed in the water.
We actually took Biddy and Molly pretty much everywhere those last couple years. We even took them both camping. The last time Mom was alive when we went camping, and I
always ask Mom questions about like, if she was a real baby, how would I do this and how would I do that? So I always think of my mom when I think of Biddy Baby. I mean, she reminds me of my dad too. First American Girl Molly, who I got way back in 1996 for Christmas. And the reason I put Molly in this video, I'm sorry if you've seen her too much already, is because for my last couple birthdays and Christmases that Mom was alive, I had decided after getting Valerie for my 13th birthday that I was basically only really interested in collecting Molly. Doll monogamous.
I was a doll monogamist. She started buying me stuff for Molly for all those holidays and stuff. And this was the outfit my mom got me for my 14th birthday. This is my favorite outfit I have for Molly. Not because I like it aesthetically the best, but because of sentiment. I just think it's really special because I remember how surprised I was that Mom picked us out for my birthday. Like, Mom was the one who I ran to with the book, like, Mom, they make Molly into a doll. And Mom was the one that picked out, in Christmas '97, Dad made us like handmade desks and sleds for Addie and Molly. And Mom picked us out outfits for them, and Mom picked me her after school outfit and her hula costume. Last birthday she was alive for, so my 15th, she picked me out Miss Victory costume and the aviator costume. Was always like taking us out to like bookstores, and we got these little like, I got all the little Molly pins that I like, I showed them in my Molly collection video. I drove her crazy because I picked out all 6 from the bin that the pins were in. And I just like really was invested in Molly, and she was very supportive of that. She, when she took me school shopping for one of the last times, she let me pick this raincoat that looked a lot like Molly's from Changes for Molly. The thing I remember the most was one day she used to pick me up before Shelly because the middle school got out before the elementary. I got in and she had on the dashboard I saw Molly and the Movie Star, which is like my favorite Molly short story, because it's this really silly story about Molly being celebrity crazy. I saw this look at me, I'm like, oh, what's that? And she says, oh, it's just something I picked up for you at the bookstore. And it meant a lot to me that Mom, like, just happened to see these. She got me this and Molly Marches On at the same time. It meant a lot to me that she picked these out for me, because Shelly pointed out to me, like, a couple years after Mom died, how it was the little things we missed. Like, she remembered feeling sad when a friend at school said, oh, my mom picked me out this new notebook, and Shelly felt like sad that she'd never have it again. And I really relate to that. Like, it's those little things, like, you know, someone's dad doing something, like, you know, just dropping something off for them at work, or someone's mom picking them up like a little trinket at the store. It just, so this was like really special to me. So, and then Molly's birthday outfit I got when Shelly got that, and that reminds me of Mom. So like, Molly's album was tied with Harry Potter as the hardest one for me to go rewrite the fun facts for on Flickr, because the Molly one made me think more of Mom, and the Harry Potter one made me think most of Dad. So it was just really hard to write about all her stuff.
For me, my last doll is Josefina. I know it's pronounced Josefina, but I've always called her Josefina. And if you've watched my American Girl collection videos, then you would probably know the sentiment behind why I love Josefina. But she was my very last birthday present from Mom, and she is my most prized possession of them all, besides my stuffed whale I sleep with every night. So she's, I guess if I had to pick one favorite doll, it would be Josefina. And the thing is, like, we had a Josefina doll that was Colleen's that she got for a good report card a few years before, in 1998, but Colleen hadn't taken very good care of her, and I really wanted a brand new Josefina for my 11th birthday, and I was like really on this kick for her. And Dad ended up convincing Mom to let me get her for my birthday. And the thing is that my birthday is August 13th and Mom passed away August 24th that year. So it was 11 days after my 11th birthday, and that was one of the very last days that Mom was at home and not like in the hospital, and I hadn't been allowed to visit her in the hospital when she was on life support and stuff, obviously, like what parent wants their kid to see that. So for me, one of my last memories of Mom being alive is the day I got this Josefina, and I remember like opening her up, and I remember like eating cake with Mom and Dad after, and it's just part of why I really wanted her and why I really connect with Josefina is because she's one of the few like doll like main characters in a book that I could relate to, because a lot of them are more like Molly. They're quirky and they're bold and they're crazy. They're like the Anne of Green Gables Colleen personality type, and I was always kind of just quiet and a bit more passive, and Josefina's a lot like that, and she also is like a healer and likes taking care of people and things, and I relate to that. So I related to her personality, and so I felt like she had that quiet inner strength that I related to. And then her mom passed away in her books, and obviously my mom passed away right after I got Josefina, so her books helped me get through that, because I kind of felt like I had a friend, because I didn't have anyone I could talk to. This was like before social media. I couldn't just like go on YouTube and find someone else who lost their mom or their dad to relate to. It was a very quiet inner struggle. So having her books made me feel like I had a friend, and Mom and Dad also got me an Our Generation horse that I named Rosie, that's in my horse video, to go with her, and it was just a really special birthday. And even though it was bittersweet because my mom wasn't feeling good, I'm really glad I have Josefina to remind me of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do plan to actually make one on sister dolls sometime in the future.
Dolls remind us of each other for some reason or another.
Yeah, so you can look forward to that, and until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and love your life.